Welcome to these videos in which we're going to lay a foundation for Christianity and the Bible. What we're going to do is lay the building blocks. We're going to start with something small, and we're going to build to something bigger. So in this very first video, what we're going to do is jump to the very beginning of the Bible, Genesis chapter 1. And in verse 1 we read this: "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." Now you notice in this verse, three things are being created that were not in existence before. We see time being created with the phrase "in the beginning." We see space come into existence, and we also see matter come into existence. And you see, this is important because God existed outside all three of those things beforehand. He didn't need those things to exist. And my main takeaway that I want you to get from this video is that God is the creator of life. God created life. And we're going to see that in the next few parts here. We see in verse 3 it says, "God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." Now you see, God spoke everything into existence. He is the creator of everything from nothing. Nothing existed beforehand. He was the one who was creating everything, and since nothing existed, he was speaking them, and it was coming into existence. He said, "Let there be light," and there was light. You see, if I created something, I would be using existing material. If I were to build a house, or if I was to build some other electronic item, I would be using things that are already found somewhere in the earth. For instance, wood, or if I was building some kind of electronic item, I'd be using wiring, some copper or something of that nature. But those are in existence already. I'm not creating them from absolutely nothing. But God created from nothing. And then with the light, he divides the light and the darkness, and he's doing other things. He's gathering the waters within the earth to one spot and the land to come about. And days pass on there, he creates, and it was good. And there was more evening in the morning, and then he creates other things, and it was morning in the evening. And on the sixth day, he creates some specific things. He creates land animals. He creates all the cattle, so cows, lions, elephants, all these different animals he creates. And even beforehand, he had created the living creatures in the waters and birds to fly in the air. And what he also creates on the sixth day is the first man. He creates Adam. He creates Eve as well. And they have a specific creation, which we'll get into in the next video, but he creates man and woman. Now you see, if God is the creator of life, if he created life, then that has big implications for us. That has big implications for me. If God is the creator, then all his creation is supposed to function a certain way. They have a specific purpose. And say if I was to build some robots, and I built them to carry out some specific tasks. Now if they go out of line, I know they go out of line because I built them for a specific task, and if they stop performing that specific task, say I built these robots to, I don't know, to build a car or something. Sometimes they use these robotics to do these different things in factories. So I create them to build something. And all of a sudden they stop doing that. Well, I realize that they're not working according to what I built them, and so I would work on them. I would do something different. They're not working as I'd want them. And so the fact that God created life has huge implications as well. You see, if the first thing we ought to do is acknowledge God as creator. He is the one who created us. And so that means that we are responsible or accountable to God, who is our creator. So that's the first thing, that's the first building block about Christianity and the Bible. God is the creator of life.